Hello, welcome to Gigi's. Come on in. Welcome to Gigi's Vegan and Wellness Cafe. Gigi Jones, aka Gigi the Vegan, went vegan for health reasons.
And what year?
In 2015.
Okay. And what's your title? What are you, a chef?
I am the chef of Gigi's Vegan and Wellness Cafe, as well as the president of Casey Health Initiative, which is a nonprofit organization that I run here as well.
Okay. And you also run the Veg Fest here, right?
Yes, Midwest Soul Veg Fest. It happens every October, and the reason for that, because there is like I believe it's connected to our ancestors, because that's harvest season. And that's when our ancestors would harvest the, jar and ferment the last harvest and freeze the last harvest for the winter. And that's one of the reasons why I chose October for Veg Fest.
That's beautiful. And you say you went vegan for health reasons.
Correct. In 2015 of July, actually, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And at that time, I thought I would have surgery. And after prayer and meditation, things happened. The day of surgery, my son was out to pick me up, and I came out to say, I'm not going. I felt that morning, I heard it plain and simple, is that if I chose to have surgery, that I would die. And I decided to listen to that voice. I had no direction. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew that I had to make a change in my life. And going downstairs to tell 4 grown men that their mom changed her mind, can you imagine? They thought I was crazy. My middle son was saying, okay, I'm gonna call your sisters, what's going on, And I have 4 sons, so they were all there, and it was like they were in more pain and suffering than I was, because they loved me, of course, and they wanted to best for me. And I just said, I wanted to wait a while. I want to figure things out. They said, no, Mom, you could die. What are you talking about? The one that you met this morning, Charles, he said, let her be. She's okay. She's going to be okay. Let her figure this thing out from there. I decided to go on the internet and start Googling of ways to heal cancer. Didn't find, it was a lot of ridiculousness on social media as well as YouTube on ways of healing cancer, which I knew was not right. When you feel things in your soul and you're like, no, that's not right. That doesn't make sense. Just eat a bowl of pineapples for 7 days or doing all these, it didn't settle with me. And then the China study came on, Dr. Colin Campbell. Actually, I was on his show some weeks back.
Nice. I just released an interview with him a month ago.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah. Don't we love him?
Yes.
He's such a remarkable doctor. So the China study came about on YouTube. And so he talked about we can turn disease off and on by the choices that we made in food. And that study was so powerful, and to study how the high number of cancer rates in other countries versus the one in the United States is just so powerful because of access or not having access to clean green food, right? That's grown from the ground, from Mother Earth, versus a lot of saturated fats and pork, and the list kind of goes on. And that was my diet. Oh, I love escargot was my number 1 go-to, right? Can you imagine that? Eating a bunch of snails, that was it, right? And then the high saturated fat from pork chops, neck bones. Remember, I'm from Arkansas, from the South. Bunch of chicken. And had no idea that I was killing myself. But for me, it was really the way of life. It was the way my mother did it. My mother cooked. So I would continue that process in preparing meals the same way, even for my family. Now get this, when I was young, we grew up the way that I grew up in Arkansas. Everyone on the same block was relatives. And we all shared a farm together. And we had gardens. And we grew all this food. And we would share the food. Like I said, during harvest season, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, they would get together to prepare to store food, right, for the winter. After leaving that lifestyle, you know, what I mean is that growing food, that was a part of my childhood. But then I get the city life, right? Get into this whole new world. And this whole new world was doing things a little bit differently, right? So I forgot about the garden. I forgot about growing healthy, green, leafy food. I forgot about all of the massive foods, of sweet potatoes, everything else that was grown. But then I became industrialized, so to speak. Westernized, shopping in grocery stores, purchasing massive, meat. We were poor. We didn't eat meat unless it was Sundays. And that's the time that we, would eat it. But because of the way that I grew up, I thought, oh, I was so poor, now I'm going to eat as much as I can.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's such a reflection of the problem.
Exactly, exactly. It was the problem. And so not only I was doing that to myself, but my children as well, 4 sons. But these are pretty big guys, so they needed tons of it. So I would buy lots of food for them as well. Not the healthy, now that I know what real health is, not that food, but it was meat, a lot of it. And going back to my story, in a way, I thought I was eating healthy because I didn't know any better. And what you don't know, you don't know. And from that study, the China study I'm going back to, that it really was an awakening for me. And it was the first step to, I believe, whatever you're seeking is seeking you. You just have to seek it, right? You have to seek it. And I was seeking wellness at that time, reversing my cancer and the knowledge of doing that. And then from the China study, I love the study, but I didn't have a recipe. I didn't have a way of knowing exactly how to prepare the food. What foods are we talking about? How do I narrow this thing down for myself? I didn't get that. And then the more I research, I came across living foods. Our body's alive and vibrant. This, once you give it what it needs, right, it is designed to heal itself. And then from there, I went raw. I started going to local farmers market, learning about organic foods and how it's grown, and then the combinations of food that helped me to get through the problem. Because remember, I'm a person that ate tons of meat. How do you go from eating a bunch of meat to just straight vegetables, raw? Because I was determined to save my life. I was determined to heal because I had people that loved me, that was supporting me, that I just couldn't.
And they express the love. A lot of times they express the love with this food that's actually killing you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not only that, with them saying to me, you got to listen to what the doctors are saying to you. Mm-hmm. You cannot do this on your own. Listen to the doctor. They know what they're talking about. Because because they loved me, and that's the only way, that's all that they know. Mm-hmm. They didn't know any other way. But the China study was the first step for me. And after finding out that, turning disease on and off by the choices we make in food, I was like, food? Is that what it is? Is that the correlation here? Yeah. Between health, real health, and death? I mean, really, it's food. And so then I decided, like I said, studied some more and learned about raw foods, living foods. and how living foods are designed to our bodies alive and vibrant. And once we give it what it needs, it can heal itself. And I took that literally. I did. And I believed it. And I think no one could have talked me out of what I was doing. But I said, if it didn't work in a year, then I would have surgery. I would do it. But it worked. And what worked for me was, first I had to reduce stress, get that stress out of my life. And the stress was I was in a bad relationship at the time, having toxic people around you, friends that really wasn't your friends, you know, and really focusing on forgiving myself for even having that relationship in the first place and allow that relationship to disturb my life and my peace, and forgiving myself. And forgiving myself not just from that relationship, for all things that I created. Even what I created in my body. I created cancer. Being honest, I believe I created it. And I created that from the way I treated my body, the way that I didn't love my body or even myself and just ate what I wanted to eat and didn't even think about it. And never gave it any thought. And the way that I was living my life. You know, of course, I didn't drink a bunch of whiskey, but I did have drinks as much as possible. You know, it wasn't the healthiest. And we're not even going to talk about the amount of sugar that was in my life at that time, you know, and didn't know that how sugar can destroy every single cell in your body, every single cell. White sugar, tons of it, because I had to make lemonade, I had to make Kool-Aid, I had to make, you know, different desserts, and it had to be a part of what I was preparing, even though not just for me to eat, even my children. And I didn't know any better. To me, what I went through in life of not truly giving myself that love is that pain and suffering that we carry, you know, the guilt, all of it. And so once I decided to release all of that, I was able to not just self-heal of cancer, but self-heal of mental illness. Because we carry so many bags, and sometimes we don't know we're carrying these bags. From childhood trauma, right? From high school. If you weren't popular, you still carrying that shit because you were teased, right? And you're still carrying that. And then you carry it and carry it. When do you release all of this and say it's going to be okay? It's going to be okay. But I think it's hard to release that when you're eating shit, bad shit. Can I say that on camera when you're eating bad shit? Because that bad shit is creating the mess in the first place, you know? And we're not going to touch on parasites, how that creates more bad shit that toxify not just your body, but everybody around you, your whole world. And though you seek out those toxic relationships too, because you're toxic.
And you can relate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's relatable. Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. And so once I figured that out on my journey, and it took me about a year to get through it. Now, believe me when I say it was not easy. I can sit here right now and tell you it was like, to me, experiencing rehab. It was experiencing rehab. I had withdrawals. Because I was detoxifying my body, I had headaches, weeks of headaches, withdrawals, shaky, everything else. Do you know, I had no idea it was drugs. That food is a form of drugs. And we're talking about also the sugar that's all in that shit, right? So with that, I had to start learning to meditate, be still, and allow my body to rid the toxins out, right? To heal. Rid of friends, or toxic friends, that truly was not my friends in the first place. Because when I changed my life, you know, when you change your life, you don't have to really do anything. They would just leave. They would leave on their own because you're not that same person you used to be. And those toxic relationships, you're not that toxic person anymore either that gravitate toward those relationships. So they don't serve you anymore.
Right.
And so they leave one by one. You don't have to do anything. They're going to leave on their own. Yeah, just be still. Because while I was going through my process, not only I didn't just stay here in Kansas City, I traveled. I had a great little backpack. I did go to a place called Hippocrates Health Institute with Brian Clemens, all of that. And I got an opportunity to meet Dr. Colin Campbell in person. He was there. He taught one of the classes. I went there to become a health and wellness coach. They had a program. And so when I worked in the garden, I grew sprouts. I learned how to sprout my food. Had no idea. Sprouting? What is this? And now I sprout every little thing. And everything that I learned from that wellness place that I went to, Hippocrates, now it empowered me to open Gigi's Vegan and Wellness Cafe. Here in Kansas City, we specialize in living foods. Not only, and now I'm a certified nutritionist as well,
Nice.
by the way.
By
All of
Colin
this
Campbell's, yeah.
Yes. And it changed my life, my world. And so through that process, I did mention that I fast for 21 days. And by fasting, I had only green juice and living foods. That was my regimen, and everything was all organic. No fruit, and we know most fruits are still sugar anyway, right? So I had no fruit for a year. Only green juice and living foods, everything green. Some things I dehydrated. I did have some pumpkin seeds here and there, clean, sprouted. Everything I ate, I had to sprout and dehydrate. That was my lifestyle. And then now here at Gigi's, this is what we do here. We specialize in living foods. We help people get well and stay well. And especially through lifestyle change, because that's where it starts. And this is what we do here. We help to educate people in terms of wellness, what is true wellness, right? And we have supplements, minerals, and herbs that we offer here. And not only that, we have a full restaurant too, where we make raw foods. Lasagnas, burgers, you can still have it your way. I always say everything's in the sauce, right?
Yeah.
From smoothies to cold pressed juice. And we're 100% sustainable as well. And we also, people love chips, right? We have kale chips here, all different flavors that you can imagine right here. They're all organic and grown locally here in Kansas City. So we're really proud of what we do here because I'm proud of what I became. And I believe that cancer changed my life. And what if this never disturbed my life? Where would I be today? You know, and I look at it like that. Even the animals. I didn't think about high processed meats and all that and what the animal was going through. You know, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the brutality. I didn't think about the harm that I was causing, because when you go in the grocery store, everything looks so nice and pretty. And you don't think about the process of how did it get there in the first place? Who had to sacrifice their life for me to buy this in the grocery store and eat it? You know, because they make it packaged up so pretty, right? I'm just saying that you don't think of the pain and suffering that the animals experience just for us to think that we need to eat animal flesh when we don't.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that is one of my questions, you know, like how much of this is ethics, how much of this is health. But before we switch gears, about a year of doing this, and you gave yourself a year, right? You
I
said,
gave myself a year.
I'm going to get the surgery if I can't resolve this on my own in a year, right?
Correct. And then after that, I decided to go back and get retested. I went back, had a colonoscopy, doing the process. Then I wake up. Doctor is hovering over me saying, we see the dye where the cancer was, but where is it?
He's asking you?
Asking me.
What did you do with it?
I did nothing. He said, the dye is here. It was here. We have, I had to go out and get, a body scan and all that to see where the cancer was and all of that. And colonoscopy, they placed dyes where they were going to have to remove it from surgery. It wasn't there anymore.
Wow.
And so then they say, well, something had to happen. So we want you to come back every month so that we can check you out to make sure that they had no explanation. But I did. I knew what happened. But I couldn't truly tell them what happened because their ears were closed. They weren't ready to hear that food
was all the medicine you need.
It was all the medicine I need because food is medicine. We know that. And so then here I am. I went back the next month. I said, why are you going back there? I had to stop myself because it's so easy to get caught up with them. Because then I'm saying, every month, why am I going back every month? No, can you imagine how dangerous that is? What they were really causing? The havoc in my body it's still, to me, almost like surgery, having a colonoscopy.
It's invasive.
Yeah, because of the process you go through in your body, the process your colon goes through. No, I refuse. And so now I would go back every 5 years and get tested, get a colonoscopy, just for myself to see where I am.
And you're
right?
Still doing
and
good.
Still doing good,
Yeah.
cancer free. And some people would say, nah, you in remission. Lifestyle change. Lifestyle change is it's not connected to remission. Because I changed my entire life.
You're a different person now.
Oh yeah, totally. Remember, I became Gigi the vegan. I used to be Gigi Jones. And let me tell you that story. After I went through my process, when I was going through my wellness journey, my grandson, I was visiting my son, my grandson comes in the room and says, Gigi, what is your business? I said, I don't know yet. Why are you asking me that question? He runs back upstairs, he comes back, he said, Gigi, what is your business? And I said, I'm still figuring it out. I guess he was like, you're on the couch, you're eating all these vegetables, get out and do something. And so he comes back and he says, your business is Gigi the vegan, duh. And I went, thanks God, okay, here I am, let me get to work.
Wow.
Yeah, it was time for me to go to work. And so, and then I would have workshop, I would start on Facebook and doing a juicing challenge just to get people to start thinking about this. This was in 2015, how to juice and all of that. And then from there, I started preparing kale chips because I love snacks, but I needed something raw and still healthy. No salt whatsoever. I wasn't intaking any salt, any sugar into my diet. And so I would make these things for my grandchildren and my grown sons, right? And from there, I think my son posted it on social media and a juice bar reached out to me. And so then the kale chips was flying off the shelf in different juice bars and places around Kansas City. And so through that process, I was able to gradually move toward Midwest Soul Veg Fest. Who would have known that was a part of this journey? You know, because I always say I'm still on my healing journey. It never ends. And so I wanted, the black and brown folks, that when you look at high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, the list goes on. It affects our community. And so I had to figure out a way to push that education out there in such a way where it's the language that we hear and understand, right? And so in doing so, I created Midwest Soul Veg Festival. And so we bring national speakers to Kansas City. It's a huge education platform, cooking demos. The list kind of goes on. The animal sanctuaries are there. They bring the chickens and the goats, and everyone shows up. Isn't that beautiful? Everyone shows up for that day of education. And usually it rains in October, right? It's starting to get cold. But guess what? Every Midwest Soul Veg Fest, the sun comes out. The sun comes out.
Yeah.
And it's warm and it's vibrant. It's so beautiful.
Wow.
And we bring roughly about 7,000 people together, and it's growing and growing and growing. And even we have people coming from Oklahoma, Chicago, New York. You know, they say, oh, we heard about Midwest Soul Veg Fest. Can you imagine that in Kansas City, where Big Barbecue is here? We're known for Big Barbecue in Kansas City, right? But there's a Midwest Soul Veg Festival right here in Kansas City.
What time? Is it always in the same kind of?
The first weekend,
Okay.
the first weekend in October. It's
Okay.
always in the first weekend in October.
Nice.
And it's a one-day event. Now we received a phone call from Kansas City, Kansas is our neighboring city, or should I say state. And they're like, Gigi, can you host a Veg Fest here in Kansas now? And so we think this year it may be 2 days, the 5th and the 6th. So we're super excited about it. And from this journey, I was able to create a nonprofit organization where we go into schools and we educate kids about plant-based nutrition. And we teach them how to grow their own food. And during the summer programs, we feed kids in urban core communities and community centers and churches and daycare plant-based nutrition as well.
Excellent. Yeah, everything I'm doing is predominantly moving toward raising children vegan.
Yes.
So I'm going to be covering a lot of that topic with different people moving forward and vegan parents and lifelong
Wonderful.
vegan. I already have enough content for the rest of this year, and that's pretty much why I'm out here, because of Serena Farb, who introduced me to you.
We love her.
Yeah,
We love
yeah.
Serena. And let me mention this for you to say that it's so powerful that this year the platform is Born Vegan. And so we have parents I have a young lady from Atlanta. She's flying in. She has 2 kids. One is 5 years old. The other is 8, and she's raising vegan. So we have roughly about 7 parents that's going to be on this platform talking about raising their kids vegan. It's going to be a powerful year. And I think that with that being said, that platform, because we still have parents that are saying, well, I'm going to listen to my doctor. I don't think that's healthy for our children. And that's why it's so needed, so that they can see that there's parents that raising their children vegan.
Yeah. So there's also a website, raisingchildrenvegan.com, that I started. And they can go there and join.
Thank you.
And then you can see these parents, you can see the kid, and
Wonderful.
So hopefully we can get them in the mix too.
Thank you for that information. And what I would like to do is add you to our website, Midwest Soul Veg Fest, and I would add your website to that. Nice. Thank you for that. Yeah, and see, and this is how we heal and work together, right? This is resourceful, because that's what we do. This is what we do. And I think that now this is my life. This is my life. And it's definitely yours as well. So however way we get the word out is the best. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Now, it sounds like your son's doing this. You have other family members doing
I do. I have 4 sons, as I mentioned. My oldest son, after I went through this process, this journey of a year, removing the cancer from my body, he just went. It wasn't even a
no-brainer
thought.
for him,
Yeah, it was no brainer. And I think maybe it's the firstborn, right? This is what happens. But the other 3 sons, they come here and eat, but they're not there yet. It's tough. And they have wives too that, it is what it is. So, and I continue to pray for them, and I continue to be that vessel that they can see, and I continue to be an inspiration for them. So when they're ready, they're ready.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. This is so beautiful. I'm so glad I got to squeeze in here today before I hit the road.
Me too.
Fantastic.
I am so happy that I got an opportunity to meet you.
Yeah, thank
I am so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that Serena called me, and this is so beautiful. And you're such a beautiful soul, and I really appreciate you. And thank you so much for coming to my little humble space.
Yeah. I'll do a
to
quick.
be here today.
You can give me a quick tour on camera.
We're 100% sustainable. We're 100% vegan, and we focus on living foods here. Our body's alive and vibrant, and we want to give it what it needs. We have from cold pressed juices, water, sea moss, sprouts, sunflower sprouts, and then we make our own raw desserts, which are quite delicious. And we can seat over up to about 35 people here in our lovely space. We have a living wall there, which is quite amazing. It's made of moss. And look at the pictures of my grandbabies. We bring our family to Gigi. So you're welcome to bring your entire family to Gigi. We really 100% focus on our family here. So at Gigi's, we want you to be comfortable. We want you to feel like you're at home. Here we are with our supplements. This is our wellness area. We focus on from supplements, minerals, hygiene, as well as the body. We even offer sage. Isn't that amazing? Dry brushing too. And here I have my cookbook, the V Code. So if you're looking to learn how to prepare living foods, let the V Code be your guide. We have from detox herbs, every herb that you can imagine. We even have some stored here because when people come in and if they have whatever is going on with their body to be a little imbalanced, we want to be able to support that. We make our own products here. Yes, I love vegan mixed nuts. We have pistachios, which are quite amazing because we know when you purchase your nuts and seeds in the store, a lot of them are dirty. So we sprout them here, we wash them, we dehydrate them. And they're 100% organic and raw. And then we have our kale chips. We have the naked, but we just sold out of our spicy. It's coming out. We make all of our seasonings as well in-house. And they're all organic, and we 100% sustainable. So we recycle everything from our juice pulp that makes the green juice. That's the veggie seasoning there. And then we have our spicy. And the same thing with our beans. So we soak them, we sprout them for you, and you're welcome to come here and pick up beans. And we have some seasonings in there for you too. In our menu, we offer, if you love coffee, but don't love what the coffee gives you, we have mushroom coffee here as well. And come on back, follow me back here. Oh, look at this, there's a library.
Oh, cool.
So we have a great library here. And one of my famous books that I love is this one. Look at that. And it tells you about every plant. So when you just walked up at Gigi's, as you can see on the outside, we really specialize in our herbs too, so that we have herbs. We do. Family again. And we have a garden in the back. So here's our volunteers with us to work in our garden. Come on back here. We have an infrared sauna. And so with the treatment here, we do meal plans, we do wellness checks through dietary concerns that you may have. So, and then for individuals that say, well, Gigi, I really want to focus on my weight loss journey while I'm vegan as well. And then we can help you through, we have a weight there that you can weigh yourself. And then we have the power plate. The power plate is really for lymphatic drainage, yes, your system. And it actually helps the body to move, right? So you can move your body.
It's funny, Joanne
like a
Farr
workout.
has one of those.
Oh, she does. I love them. Yes, of course. It is so important. And the infrared sauna heats us up from the inside core, helps to get rid of, I believe it was a part of my, getting rid of cancer from my body. It helps to shrink those tumors. It heats the body up from the inside, let all of that toxins come out on the outside, which is our skin. It's the largest organ in our body. And so when it comes out, and that's why the infrared sauna is so important. And during COVID, everyone should have had one.
Yeah, what's interesting is when the sun produces infrared, right?
Oh, yes, of course.
And so on a cellular level, it helps you produce melatonin, which is an antioxidant.
It does.
So that's a great way to get it if you're not getting enough sun exposure in a proper way.
Right.
Because if you don't get it at the right time of day and all, and especially here where you're located.
In Kansas City. Yeah. Can you imagine that? We seldom get sunlight. All that, for the last month, we've had rain. So we haven't had a lot of sun, but today we do. And so we're grateful for that. Yeah, and this is the way to get it as well. Yeah, it's so important. Cool. Okay. So as you can see, we're not just about food, which we know food is medicine as well, but we're truly about the whole as it relates to wellness here at Gigi.
Do you have a quote you want to share real quick?
I always say, if you don't mind, everyone has a doctor in them, and you are your own doctor.
Cool.
I have two.
Okay.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Saving lives one plant at a time, because plants are medicine on so many levels.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.